Hello? Hello? Hello?
What's this?
Something smells really bad.
What do you mean? Who's that? What do you mean smells bad?
Well, I mean, something smells really bad.
Well, maybe. I wouldn't know.
So, you're just gonna accept it like this?
What do you mean accept it like this?
Like, are you just going to accept it like this? That it's smelling so bad?
Well, I mean, it smells the way it smells, does it not? What point would be there to try and change it? I mean,
Well, the point would be to get rid of the smell.
but it's like trying to get rid of the rain when it's raining. I mean, the smell is whatever the smell is. I can't really change that. Some people try to get rid of their smell by putting on heaps of deo, but that doesn't really get rid of the smell. It just covers it up. So does perfume. And then these people run around and they pretend like, oh, I smell really good. But if the effect of the deo wears off, they feel really insecure, and so some people carry deo around with them wherever they go.
Well, but I mean, shouldn't you at least do something about the smell?
Well, I mean, if you consider it this way, there are people, even people that live in this modern world, and these people, they don't even use soap to shower. They don't even brush their teeth. And they still find people to spend time with. So if you stop using deo and your body odor shows, and people give you shit for it, well, you may just stop hanging out with them. Because they're trying to define you by something that says nothing about you. Well, of course, in a way it does.
Well, that's a bit confusing now. I mean, does it say now something? Or does it not say something?
Well, if you realize that there is some kind of stench coming out under your arms, well, there are certain things you can do about it. First of all, the most prominent thing that adds to the way you smell is probably your diet. So if you eat a lot of sugar or things that like accumulate a lot of, energy in your body, such as meat and these kinds of things, your body may smell different than the body of a person that eats entirely vegan, for instance.
Well, that's kind of interesting, but that doesn't help me now.
Well, of course not, because you're a turd. You are the remains of something that ate something and then shat. And so the way your feces smell is also an indicator of the way you eat, but also of the way you live. If you have a lot of diarrhea or it burns when you poop, it probably means that you have too much acid in your body. And that means you have to change your diet and do something about this. So maybe you're sitting around at home a lot, you don't really move much, and that gives you constipation. So movement is essential for healthy bowel movement.
Well, that sounds really complicated.
Well, in a way it is, because most people in this weird kind of world have been brought up with all kinds of bullshit that, like the industry is trying to tell them. Because what most people don't understand is that the industry has no real interest in, giving you things that are healthy or good for you. All the industry wants is to market what they want to produce so that you would buy it. And that means if the industry wants you to think that eating wheat, right, like gluten-containing grains, is good for you, then they're going to market it in such a way. And if you believe them, then it's your fault, and you may end up being really depressed, because that's what gluten does. Gluten goes into your colon, and because it's very, very elastic and sticky, it clogs up your colon, which means your colon is going to be really busy trying to digest it, which is nearly impossible. And after eating, that makes you really tired, because all your energy, your entire body is basically focused on digesting gluten. And that's why if you're suffering from depression, it may be a good idea to try not eating gluten for at least 2 months and then see how the effect is.
Well, I mean, that sounds like something I could do. I mean, if it's just gluten.
Well, gluten is where it starts, of course. I mean, connected to that is a whole bunch of other things, but I think in the beginning it's best to just focus on one thing.
Oh, well, I mean, at least it's worth trying.
Well, if there's one thing I've learned about diet, and I'm the result of a diet, I would say that change is important. And the way I see it, most people in this society, they start eating one thing, and because that seems to work for them, they just keep eating the same thing, never realizing that it's actually quite bad for them.
Yeah, well, there might be some truth to that.
Exactly. So, what you want to do is figure it out and make experiences and try different things, but also keep trying them. So if you just eat one time no gluten, it will not have the effect, so you have to do it for at least 7 weeks. And then you eat it again, and then your body managed to detoxify from gluten. And that means that when you eat it again, the effect will be much stronger. The same goes for drinking coffee, of course. Maybe you drink coffee every day. You don't really realize what kind of effect it has on your system anymore. So if you drink coffee every day, you could stop drinking coffee for, let's say, a month, and you will realize that your mind and your body are basically clinging to it, because now it is the way that you feel most of the time. So how do you feel and who are you without coffee? And that's a challenge. Who are you if you don't eat pizza? Who are you if you don't eat bread? These are things that have to be discovered. And who else is to discover them but you? You may listen to other people talking about it, but unless you try it yourself, You will never know.
Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I think, yeah, right.
Well, I mean, for you it's too late. You're already out there. But for the person creating things like you, right, there's still a chance. And, right, in the end, if you feel miserable, it's always good to go for a walk instead of stuffing yourself with food. And that's a hard one, because there's all kinds of habits and reasons connected to this sort of thing. Anyway, I think, right, I've kind of said enough, and, I'm gonna leave it here, and, I'm just gonna keep decomposing.
Well, alright then. I'll just wait for somebody else to drop next to me.